Hey y'all, this is Christy Cook with Teadoddles. Today I'm going to do a tutorial for my new pixel and lace heart scarf. I did a pixel and lace heart pattern a while back on the blog. It was just kind of a freeform applique type thing, but I thought it would be really neat to put it into a scarf form. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm using, my pattern does use a bulky weight yarn, a number 5. I'm going to be using this Yarn Bee thread today that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Alpine Authentic. This is 75% acrylic, 25% polyamide. It, like I said, it's a number 5 bulky. One color is neutral and the other color is called Sidewalk Hopscotch. The first one I did, I made out of a homespun yarn. So you can use any number 5 bulky weight yarn you want for this pattern. And I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook or eye hook for this project. This project uses corner to corner crochet, which I will show you a little bit about how to do that, but I'm not going to get into too much detail about that because there are tutorials out there for corner to corner. I'm doing something a little different with this in that I'm using treble crochets for my squares versus double or half double crochets, which you'll see in most patterns. I'm also going to show you how to decrease at the top to make the heart shape and then join the next heart. So let's just get started. I'm going to put a slip knot in here, and I do mine by hand because that's just how I learned, and I put slip knots in other things. So I don't do it with my hook. Hello, that's my dog. Okay, so first you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Then we're going to put a treble crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 5th chain from the hook or the 3rd chain from the end, whichever is easiest for you to count. So we pull through 1, 2, 3, which is why it's called a treble crochet. You're pulling through 3 times, so you should have wrapped over your hook twice. So I'm not going to go over stitches too much because I'm going to assume that you know a little bit about crochet if you're watching this video. So now we have our little square. And the reason I did treble because I'm using the bulky weight, it gives more of a square shape than a double or half double would. I really wanted that square shape. So corner to corner, this would be the corner of whatever you're working on, and you're going to make boxes going back and forth. And that's why it's called corner to corner. It's one of my favorite stitches. It gives a lot of texture to things. So to start our next boxes, I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the pattern, it's going to say turn, but really you're just turning into the chain at this point. So again, you're going to go into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th chain from the hook and do a treble crochet. And then you'll do a treble crochet and the last 2 chains as well. Now this yarn is really nice to work with. It's very soft and glides very easily. Alright, so now I'm going to make sure that this box is turned so that the chain 3 and from the beginning is on this side here, and then here's your other box. Okay, so you'll slip stitch right up under that chain 3 to join the boxes together. Okay, and then you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to put 3 treble crochets into that chain 3 space. So I'm going to chain up under, I'm going to hook up under, I'm not going to go through the stitch, okay? So 1, that was a double crochet, y'all. Hang on. Get my other stitch back. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3, which the first chain counts as that, so you'll have 4, basically 4 stitches in each. So now, if you look at it this way, this kind of almost looks like this looks like a little tiny heart. So that's how the corner to corner is done. We will continue in that manner, starting off with the chain 7 and crocheting down into that and connecting our box, and then chain 4 and then trebles into the stitch and connecting. We want to have 5 peaks, so 5 boxes across the top when we're finished. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna go step by step for that portion. As I said, there are plenty of corner to corner crochet tutorials out there already that are really nice, but I just want to show you how I did it with the treble crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and make this, and I'll fast forward this part so we can have our 5 boxes. Okay, now we have 5 boxes right across the top. 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So now we're going to start decreasing, which the first row is going to be a regular decrease like you would do with corner to corner, because at some point you usually want to make it square again. So to do that, since we're already going this way in our stitches, we're going to turn the work around just like that. I'm going to slip stitch right into that first stitch, and then 1, 2, and then in the top of this chain 3 slip stitches. And I did go into the chain for that slip stitch because it just holds it a little bit snugger for that particular area. So you just slip stitch across those 4 stitches, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can get back over here. And then you would, it's really hard to crochet on a table, y'all. I'm not well practiced at that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 trebles into that chain 3 space. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 of the next box. And in that case, I do go under the chain. But you can go, it doesn't really matter if you go under the chain or in the stitches for this. I just find it easier to go under the chain. So if you go in the stitch, it will pull that chain a little bit tighter in the beginning. So then just continue on with your boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do the 3 trebles into the chain 3 space. I find it easier and quicker to not go in the chain 3 space when I'm doing the trebles. So, but your stitches will slide on that chain 3 stitch. So if you don't like that, you can go down into the stitch. Either way will work. Slip stitch to the first chain 3 in the next box and continue making boxes as usual. 2, 3, 4. And 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. And we're slip stitching into the next box. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 trebles. 2, 3. Alright, so we're going to slip stitch into that last box, but we're not going to make another box, okay? Because we're starting to decrease. So now you have an angled side and you're starting to come up this way. So we're just gonna add a box here and here. So typically, if you're making a square, you would add a box 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and 1 to make a square. But I want a heart shape, so we're gonna put a box here and skip this box, and then do this box. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So again, we're facing this way. We're gonna turn the work. We're gonna slip stitch into these 4 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like we did when we decreased for the first box. So I'm going to slip stitch 1, 2, 3, and in the top of that chain 3, so 4. Okay? Then we're going to make our box like we usually do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Connect to the chain 3 in the next box. Ugh. Alright, so we have our first peak of our heart. And now we need to fill in this box. So we're going to slip stitch across this chain 3, or chain 4, excuse me. So we've already slip stitched into the first stitch. And we're going to slip stitch under the chain 1, through, I do alternate these, and through the chain 2. So that's 3 stitches so far. And then under the chain 4. And I do that because it helps the slip stitches stay a little better. So I went through the first chain, under the next chain, through the next chain, so I alternated it, if that makes sense. So you still have 4 slip stitches across there. The slip stitch into the first chain when you join the box, and then 3 more slip stitches, okay? And then, and this just helps turn the corner a little better, this little point stitch here, you're going to kind of go through there and slip stitch as well. So you have 5 slip stitches now. So now we're going to slip stitch into each of these stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 stitches in our box. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 in that top chain. So we have made it to where our other box goes by slip stitching across there. So we did our box here, we slip stitched in that first chain, then we did put 3 more slip stitches in that chain, alternating going under the chain and into the chain to help hold those stitches better. And then we put 1 slip stitch in the corner, that little V right there, and then we put a slip stitch in each stitch up in this box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're at the top of this box and corner, so we can make our last box, which 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 3 trebles into the chain, 3 space. 1, 2, and 3. Come on, yarn. And slip stitch into that last chain 3 space. Okay, so now you have your first heart. See? Pixelated heart. That's why I call it pixel and lace, because the bulky fabric, since I'm using a treble, it gives it an airier feel to me, and plus bulky thread, I don't like tight stitches because it makes it really dense and heavy. But there is our first heart for the scarf. I'll get it out in a minute. So now I'm going to show you how to join the next scarf, and you will have to cut this yarn because I want to use a different color for my next heart to make the definition between the hearts stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to pause this and get my yarn cut, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I have trimmed off my yarn. I haven't woven the ends in yet, but I'm going to show you how to start this next heart. Now you can certainly just make individual hearts and connect them with a whip stitch or however you want, but I prefer to connect with crochet when I can. So, find the end of my yarn. There we go. So we're going to take this next yarn. I'm using a different color to get the contrast, like I said. And we're going to attach it right up under the beginning of this box. This little chain 3 here that has all the slip stitches in it. It's kind of thick. So you're going to stick your hook right up under there, pull up a loop, and when I do this, I like to make my first chain 1 with the tail, and then I continue with this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that just helps lock that in a little better until you get to weaving that in. So we've done 4 stitches, and then we're going to do our 3 trebles just like we do with any of the other boxes. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so then we're going to connect this kind of in this little middle spot between these 2 boxes with a slip stitch. Alright, so what that does, slide those stitches so you can see it better. That's like this first box here in the center of this heart, right? because we're beginning our next heart. So this is the bottom of our next heart. So in order to get everything else started, I'm going to slip stitch up this chain 3 to get to this corner. That way I can start my next row of boxes in the correct place. Because normally you would, from here, you would chain the 7 and then come back down into it. But I want it connected to this. So I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 3, or chain 4. I keep calling it chain 3, you guys. This is a chain 4 space. I must have said that about 10 times already. Okay. So then I'll go through the next chain like I did before, slip stitch. That's 2 slip stitches. Under this chain, that's 3 slip stitches, and then through this chain, and that's 4 slip stitches, because there's 4 chains, so you need a slip stitch for each chain. Okay. And then we're going to do chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn, and we're going to put our 3 trebles into the same chain 4 space that we just slip stitched in. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to come and slip stitch right into this chain 4 at the top of this box. So then we'll chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all, if I've said chain 3, replace it with chain 4 for this video. So the 3 trebles into this chain 4. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then we're going to slip stitch right into this chain 4 in this box. All right. So it looks like we filled that heart in. And if this yarn's not contrasting as much as I thought it would, but you'll be able to see the next heart once we keep going. So now you're just going to continue on like you did when you were making your other boxes. So you'll chain 7 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Treble into the 5th chain from the hook, and treble into the 2 remaining chains. There we go. Alright, I want to make sure this is turned, and then we slip stitch into the top of that box. So we're starting the bottom of our heart. So now this one is not connected to this first heart. This is the second heart. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll continue making our boxes just like we did before. 3 trebles into the chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3. And slip stitch into this box. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 trebles right into that chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see we have now begun our second heart, and I'm disappointed that you can't see the definition of this very well. So you may want to use more contrasting fabrics so you can still see your heart shape. But it will look like hearts connected once you make all of it. So we're going to continue on till we get to 5 boxes, and then we would decrease the same as I showed you for this heart. So I'm going to finish up that so you can see what it looks like connected, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I finished my second heart, which I think it stands out a little bit more now since I've finished making it, that there's 2 hearts joined together here. You can certainly use more contrasting fabric threads, more contrasting thread if you wish to make that stand out, but that, and you would just keep adding panels to this until you get this to the length you want. You can really make this as long as you want. Keep adding hearts. There will be a tutorial on the blog, or when this video comes out, there'll be a tutorial on the blog, and with pictures about joining and doing the top and joining. Well, the top part is really very similar to the first pixel and heart, so I'll probably refer back to that for that one. So the tutorial on the blog with pictures will show how to join the 2 hearts together, and then probably this Friday I'll put out another video and tutorial on the blog, because I'm going to do the lace edging around the whole scarf like I did on the pixel and lace heart that I made before. That's the name. So that's the end for today's tutorial. I hope y'all enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments below, or email, which will be down below as well. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will see y'all next time.